Hey there, VC. I'm Brian. This is Shamrock'n Records, and today I'm going to show some more finds. I did a video yesterday showing some of my finds from the last probably couple weeks. And first off, I just wanted to show what we're listening to. This is John Hartford's Aeroplane, signed by somebody. Great record. I had to pull it out. I was watching some VC videos last night as I was eating dinner. If you watched my video yesterday, you know that my daughter Madison stood me up yesterday, so I had dinner alone. And I was like, well, if I'm going to be by myself, I'm going to watch some YouTube videos and eat dinner. So I had my spaghetti and meatballs and watched Mazzy's very first Whack-A-Mole. And this was pulled out, and I was like, oh man, I got to hear it. I haven't heard it in so long. And it's a fantastic record. So thank you for showing it, Mazzy. Thank you for making me pull that out today, because it's a classic. But I first heard of this record, I don't know, 5-10 years ago. There's a podcast called High Fidelity that used to be around. I don't think they make it anymore. But basically at High Fidelity, they would have a musician come in and they would pick out a few records from the shop, and then they would play them on the podcast and talk about some of their favorite records. And this record was shown by, or was played, wasn't shown because it's a podcast, you can't see it. But Sarah Watkins from Nickel Creek pulled this out and played a track off of it, and caught my buddy's ear, and then he sent the podcast link over to me. He's like, dude, you gotta listen to this. Sarah Watkins is on here, and she pulled some really cool stuff, and you really need to check out this John Hartford record. So thank you, Sarah Watkins, for playing this on High Fidelity. Thank you, Mazzy, for showing it on your first Whack-A-Mole. Speaking of High Fidelity, has anybody watched the new High Fidelity series on Hulu yet? If you're not familiar with what I'm talking about, Hulu has an original series now called High Fidelity. Yep, the High Fidelity from the movie, which was made after the Nick Hornby book. But in this series, I'm not sure how many episodes it is. I'm on the second episode. I've only seen one episode so far. But on this series, it stars Zoe Kravitz, who is the daughter of Lenny Kravitz and Lisa Bonet. If you've seen the movie, Lisa Bonet is one of the girlfriends of John Cusack. So now, Lisa Bonet is the star of this TV series, and she plays the John Cusack role. So it's basically like the movie, or like the book, but it's shown through a woman's perspective. I really enjoyed the first episode so far. So I don't get all caught up in, oh, this is different and this is... I just watch it for what it is, and it was great. I laughed several times. I'm not going to do any spoilers, so you guys can watch it and see what you think of it for yourself. But if you didn't know about it, and you got Hulu, check it out. I'll probably watch a couple more episodes today. Got my Spindrift Seltzer, a little orange mango here today. It's only like 11:30 in the morning, so I'm on my last day of vacation and go back to work tomorrow. But yeah, let's get into some music here, and I'll show you some of the things that I've picked up. So basically, one of my most played songs last year was called Only the Wild Ones by Dispatch. And I couldn't get enough of that song. I had it just streaming in my car constantly. It came out in 2017, but I never had picked up the vinyl. And this is like one of those things that I've had on my Amazon wish list, and I tend to check my wish list on Amazon pretty often, and because I'm always looking to see when records are dwindling, I guess I should say, and that's usually my cue to pick it up if I start seeing the stock levels lower. So basically, if I start seeing things run out on Prime, if it's not available on Amazon Prime anymore, and it's only available on third sellers, I'm like, oh shit, I better jump on these before they're out of print and I can't get them. And just so this is one of those records that I really wanted. I love this band. I've been a big fan of this band since the 90s. New England band, Boston band. They actually, some of the guys or one of the guys I think is from Boston. They met in like Middlebury College in Vermont. The jam band, or they get thrown into that jam band label. Their music's all over the place. You know, you got stuff that's folky sounding like a Neil Young song, but then you have like reggae inspired stuff. Some of it kind of raps a little bit on their earlier stuff, but then they also have things that are very like Afrobeat, kind of like Paul Simon Graceland kind of stuff. And that song, Only the Wild Ones, which I just probably might have been my most played song last year, is very Paul Simon Graceland-esque. So if you like that kind of thing, check it out, Only the Wild Ones. But I ordered this off of their website, dispatch.com, because I did not want to not get that. And while I was on their website, I saw that they still had some copies of one of their older records, What Are We Living For? And it was, and on their, or Who Are We Living For? This record originally came out, oh gosh, I'm not sure, 2011 this says, but it was out before then. It must have been pressed in 2011, but it's on this like cold blue vinyl. When I was online and ordered it, it said it was going to be silver, which I don't know why I got the blue one, but the blue one showed up. They must have run out of the silver. But just a great band, really enjoy them. Another record that I've been wanting for a very long time was never pressed on vinyl. It's one of my favorite records from the 90s. And it's Freddie Johnson, This Perfect World. And Freddie Johnson, it's a folk pop masterpiece, 1994. Here's Freddie. He had the one hit Bad Reputation, which, you know, most people know that song. It was pretty big, got a lot of airplay. You know, Marshall Crenshaw plays on this record. Butch Vig produced it. Butch Vig actually does some of the drums on this. But this was just a record that, CD, I guess I should say, that came out. 94 is the year I graduated high school and started college. This was constantly in my car. This was constantly getting played. It was one of my most played things. This, along with, like, I remember when this came out, I think I also bought Pete Droge, Necktie Second. I think I bought that the same day. And right around that same time, I had, like, what was it? Chris Isaac, the Freddie Jones Band, Big Head Todd. I was listening to a lot of that kind of stuff. And he did a Kickstarter campaign last year to release this record. And I didn't know that. Is a great one. Mazzy sang this on his first Whack-A-Mole, the Boogie. But anyway, actually, Mazzy sang Boogie. This isn't the Boogie that he was singing. This is that was up on the hill where they do the Boogie, and then it goes into Boogie, which is like this really kind of dirty sexual song where he's like moaning and groaning and Boogie, want to boogie with me? It's really dirty and funny. Check out Boogie by John Hartford off of this. The song that's on right now, Up on the Hill where they do the Boogie, I was first introduced to back in the 90s when I was listening to all the jam music. There was a band called Leftover Salmon who did a cover of that song with John Popper from Blues Traveler. Check out that track if you don't know it. It's so gross.
Hey, babe, I want a boogie.
Boogie.
Boogie, woogie, woogie with me. Hey, babe, I want a boogie. Boogie, woogie, woogie with me. We can boogie over here. We can boogie over there. Come on, babe, we can boogie everywhere. Hey, babe, I want a boogie. Boogie, woogie, woogie with me.
All right. All right, I'm done boogieing with him. Anyway, yeah, now I'm flustered. I lost track of what's going on. All right, Freddie Johnson. I just saw Freddie Johnson. So anyway, there was a Kickstarter. I missed out on the Kickstarter, so I had this listed on my Discogs want list, and nothing ever appeared. All of a sudden, about a week or two ago, I see one appear. Bomb, jumped on it, and I looked earlier this morning. There were still 2 copies available on Discogs, so and for a good price, $22. So, and they're still sealed. They're brand new. Great record. I'm just going through. I'm picking up all these records that I've just wanting on vinyl, and they're all coming out on vinyl now. So here's another one. It's a 20-year anniversary of this record. It's David Gray's White Ladder. This just came out on Valentine's Day. It was released. Released in the UK. I bought the one copy that they had at Bull Moose. It didn't appear that they had any more copies there. I'm not sure. I went online. It says it is limited. I don't know how many were pressed. But this record meant a lot to me. This is the one that he got big on. You know, Babylon, This Year's Love. It comes on white vinyl. They also did a 4 LP box set of this with demos and rarities, but I didn't need all that extra stuff. This is good enough for me, but this is something that I played constantly when this came out. I still love it. Say Hello, Wave Goodbye is just gorgeous. I just listen to. I love that song so much. I listen to it all the time. He actually, I'm a big Van Morrison fan. He takes the first line of Into the Mystic and incorporates it into the end of the song. And then he also takes a line from Madame George and incorporates it into the song. So he pays his respect to Van. I'm going to buy that record. So, yeah, let's see. What else did I find here? Oh, this is one that I picked up back at the Barnes & Noble sale. And when I did my Barnes & Noble video, I had it in it. I think I had it downstairs. I have another stereo in my living room, and I'd been listening to it down there, so I completely forgot to show this one. But this is the newest Glenn Hansard, Between Two Shores. Glenn Hansard, Irish singer-songwriter. He was in the band The Frames, and then he wrote, directed, played all the music for the movie Once, which became a musical, where he had a few hits from that, which he did. He had a project called The Swell Season with Marquetta or Globa, But now he's just doing his own solo material. And I will tell you, and I don't want to say it because Once is a masterpiece in my opinion, but I think this might be a better record. This is more upbeat. He adds a horn section. It's just a more full sound. It's more upbeat. And his music tends to really be very slow and kind of depressing and love songs. And, you know, the Irish singer-songwriter, Damien Rice, is very similar. You know, if you know Damien Rice, it's the same kind of stuff. So, kind of falls into that David Gray too, even though David Gray's not Irish, English, but it's kind of that same kind of sound. Another record I picked up recently, I found this one in a used bin, but it's a newer record. It came out in 2008, and it's by A.A. Bondi. A.A. Bondi is a singer-songwriter who was in a band called Verbena, which I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was a Seattle band, I'm not sure. But and I'll be honest, I'm not familiar with Verbena at all. I never heard them, never listened to them. I've only heard A.A. Bondi's solo stuff, which I love. This is his first solo record. I believe he has 3. Like I said, this came out in 2008 on Fat Possum. It's very minimal folk, lot like early Ryan Adams, Jason Isbell, Jeff Tweedy. If you're into the alt country folk style, this will be right up your alley. I would, you know what? I would recommend the song, the title track, American Hearts, and I'm going to just pop it on right now because it's a pretty killer track, and I want you guys to hear A.A. Bondi because I've never seen anybody show A.A., and this song is just really killer. But,
we were raised by wolves, and we are still wild, and we have when the troubled wind blows, and then the TV's blue light.
Yeah, you know, you have the acoustic, and then there'll be a harmonica. Just this is the song right here, though. Love this song.
So don't tread on me, for I am your brother. I was born with an American heart. And don't tread on her, for she is your sister. She was born with an American heart.
Alright. Say Bondi. So, this next one, I've never seen this before. I've seen the record before. I've never seen the outer sleeve for this record before. And apparently the band must have done this kind of thing a lot. Where they had sleeves on their records, and I mean, I've never seen any of these things until recently. I've never seen this. I was with Jonathan when I found this, and he said he had never seen this either. So I already had a nice copy of Stage Fright by the band. It's a great record. So I bought it just for the sleeve, the outer sleeve, and I'll probably just trade in my other copy or sell my other copy now, because, you know. But that's a total upgrade for me to have that sleeve. And when I'm saying this is if about the band with their outer sleeves, let me show you one more thing. If you're new to my channel, you hadn't seen this yet. But let's see. Where the hell? So, sorry about that. But they did the same kind of thing on their record Moondog Matinee. If you're not familiar, this is the copy that most people see. This is what everybody's familiar with. This is what I had for years and years and years. And then one day I see this out in the wild, and it is a outer, I don't want to call it insert because it's an outsert. This was on the, wrapped it all up, kind of like those, you know, it's like those old days when you had your school textbooks and everybody wrapped them up in the paper bags. But yeah, this thing just slides around the record. So yeah, the band, man, I don't know what I'm gonna find next if they did that with any other records, but now I got those two wrapped up in outserts. So let's see, I'm gonna show one more. This is something I was never on the never looking for. And I was out with a friend, and we're out digging, and I'm going through all the used records, and I see this pop up. And I was like, wait a minute, I think that's really hard to get. and I think I saw Billy Hirsch show this before, and he talked highly about it, and they had a good price on it, and it's a triple LP. And Jamie Johnson, and this is a record called The Guitar Song. It came out in 2010, and this goes for some pretty good money, and I got it for a very good price. And it's a great record, like outlaw country kind of stuff. But it's really cool. It has one record that's on black vinyl, and then the second record, I gotta show you, it's just kind of cool. It's on white, and the third pretty cool. So I have not listened to the whole thing yet. It's long, but I have listened to a good chunk of it, and I've been enjoying it. I told my buddy Ernie. Ernie comments. Ernie doesn't make videos yet. Ernie, I know you're gonna. You told me you're gonna. But Ernie comments on a lot of videos. He's, I know he used to be very. He'd be on Facebook all the time, and I actually met Ernie. He lives in New Hampshire, just like an hour and a half. He probably lives like an hour and a half from me. I met him a few months ago at a record show, but we've been conversing back and forth through text and stuff. We became good friends to the VC. He actually saw Jonathan and I at a Steve Earle concert in Portland one time. And the next day, he commented on a video. He's like, I saw you and Jonathan at the concert last night. I was right behind you guys. You should have freaking talked to us, man. But it was really cool. He's a great guy, and I was all excited. I knew Ernie was a big fan of Jamie Johnson. Turns out he already had it. But he's like, dude, that's my favorite singer. So, yeah. So that's my last find. I got a different angle going today because this new room that I have is just loaded with windows, and it's very bright today. It's all blue sky, sun, and it's just reflecting off the snow, and it's bright as hell in here, and I'm like trying to make an angle where I can actually make a video and you guys can actually see instead of all this bright light coming in. But anyway, I'll stop rambling. Yeah, I still got tons of stuff to show. I got a whole year's of finds that I haven't shown anything to you guys. So hopefully I'll get caught up and kind of show you what I put into my collection over the past year. I got a lot of really cool things. I got rid of a lot of records I'm really, I know Jeff Kempin's contest that he was doing, the 70 and 700, one of his questions, like, where do you see your collection going? I see my collection getting stronger. I'm weeding out stuff, and they're good records, like, but I don't listen to them. I don't need them. I don't need, things that I'm not going to spin, and so I'm pulling things out, trading them off, selling them, and just putting it in just gems. I want personal gems, and this wall probably holds around 2,000 records. It goes from one wall to the other wall, and I just want to pull random records, and I want them to be great. And so that's where I want my collection going. Yeah, part contest entry for you, Jeff. So anyway, cheers, guys. Have a great, what's today, Wednesday? A great Wednesday. Check out my other finds video that I made yesterday, and cheers.